A comet's tail doesn't stream behind it. It always points away from the sun, even when the comet is flying away. That means the tail is sometimes pointing forward, leading the comet like a ghost walking backward through space. That one fact breaks something in your brain if you sit with it long enough. And it's just the beginning of how wrong our picture of comets really is. Here's what nobody tells you. Comets aren't dirty snowballs drifting peacefully through the void. They're violent, seething, chemically insane objects. When one approaches the sun, it transforms at a rate that would make a nuclear reactor look calm. And if you were somehow inside one, not on it, inside it, during that transformation, you wouldn't last a single microsecond. Not because of heat alone. Because of something far stranger. Let's build this from the ground up. A comet begins its life in the Oort cloud, a shell of frozen debris sitting somewhere between 2,000 and 100,000 astronomical units from the Sun. To put that in perspective, 1 astronomical unit is the distance from Earth to the Sun. The Oort cloud starts at 2,000 times that distance. It's so far out that gravity from passing stars can nudge these objects loose, sending them on million-year journeys inward. When one finally crosses into the inner solar system, it's been frozen at temperatures close to -270 degrees Celsius, just 2 degrees above absolute zero. It's been that cold for 4.5 billion years. Then everything changes in a geological instant. At around 5 astronomical units from the Sun, roughly where Jupiter orbits, something called sublimation kicks in. Sublimation is when a solid skips the liquid phase entirely and jumps straight to gas. The ice doesn't melt. It explodes outward as vapor. Carbon monoxide, carbon dioxide, water ice, all of it starts venting simultaneously. Jets of gas shoot out at speeds exceeding 1 kilometer per second. These jets are powerful enough to actually alter the comet's orbit. The comet is steering itself with its own vomit. That is not a metaphor. That is orbital mechanics. Now imagine you're inside the nucleus, the solid core, which is typically only a few kilometers across. Picture Comet 67P, the one the Rosetta mission orbited. It's about 4 kilometers long and shaped like a rubber duck. Its surface looks like a dark, cracked desert. But underneath that crust, the pressure from sublimating gases is building like a carbonated bottle being shaken. When a weak point in the crust ruptures, a jet erupts with enough force to accelerate dust particles to speeds that would shred anything biological. And here's the chemical nightmare. The outgassing includes hydrogen cyanide, formaldehyde, and methanol. You're not just getting blasted by pressure. You're being bathed in some of the most toxic compounds known to chemistry, at supersonic speeds, in hard vacuum. But the thing that would actually kill you fastest isn't the gas or the toxins. It's the radiation. Without an atmosphere, the comet's surface receives the full, unfiltered fury of solar ultraviolet and X-ray radiation. At 1 astronomical unit, Earth's distance from the Sun, that's already enough to cause severe radiation burns in minutes. But comets at perihelion, their closest point to the Sun, can dip inside the orbit of Mercury. Comet Lovejoy in 2011 passed less than 140,000 kilometers above the Sun's surface. At that distance, the radiation flux is more than 600 times what we experience on Earth. The solar wind, a stream of charged particles moving at 400 kilometers per second, would strip electrons from your atoms before your nervous system could register anything had happened. You wouldn't feel pain. There's no time for pain. You'd simply cease to have coherent atomic structure. If this is making you feel like textbooks robbed you, you're right. Subscribe right now, because this channel exists specifically for science that makes your jaw drop. Here's the second layer that reframes everything. The material inside comets isn't just random frozen gas. Analysis from missions like Stardust and Rosetta showed that cometary material contains amino acids, the building blocks of proteins. Glycine, the simplest amino acid, was detected in samples from Comet Wild 2. These aren't traces. They're embedded throughout the structure. Some comets also carry complex organic molecules called polycyclic aromatic hydrocarbons. These compounds are linked to biological chemistry in ways we're still unpacking. What this means is staggering. The object that would vaporize you instantly, that violent, toxic, radiation-soaked projectile, is also carrying the molecular ingredients that may have helped seed life on Earth. Comets aren't just rocks. They're delivery systems for chemistry that matters. The current leading hypothesis is called panspermia adjacent delivery, Not that life came from comets, but that the raw chemical toolkit did. 4 billion years ago, during the late heavy bombardment, comets and asteroids hammered the young Earth at a rate we can barely imagine. Each impact deposited organic material. Oceans that barely existed got dosed, repeatedly, with cometary chemistry. And somewhere in that chaotic, irradiated, chemically rich soup, something clicked. Something replicated. You are, in some measurable chemical sense, downstream from the same material that would kill you in microseconds if you stood inside a comet today. That's the real mind bender. The thing that builds life and the thing that destroys it are the same object, experienced at different scales and different distances. The comet doesn't care. It's just physics and chemistry doing what they do across incomprehensible scales of time and space. We are made of the ruins of violent things. Every atom in your body was forged in a star that exploded. Every organic molecule that started the chain leading to you may have arrived on a comet moving at 70 kilometers per second. The universe is not gentle. It builds through destruction, and it seeds life through chaos. And right now, there are an estimated 1 trillion comets in the Oort cloud. 1 trillion of these chemical bombs, just waiting for a gravitational nudge. Some of them are already moving. If the idea that a comet would vaporize you and may have helped create you is the kind of thing that keeps you up at night, this channel has more. Hit subscribe and turn on notifications. Next time, we go somewhere even stranger.